Hello and welcome to a VRTK tutorial video. In this video we're going to show how we can take a pointer and have valid locations for the pointer, and then also have invalid locations for the pointer where the pointer can't select upon. Please consider becoming a VRTK patron. There are plenty of membership levels to sign up at and it really helps fund these videos. Thanks to all the existing patrons and the ones who are at the correct level to get a shout out in the video. You'll see your name on the screen now. So we're back in the same scene that we used for creating a curved pointer for OpenXR, and we'll use this scene as the basis. So what we're trying to achieve is we want to be able to point our pointer at all the different objects in the scene, but we want to actually restrict where the pointer can actually point to. So for this, we're going to say the table is actually an invalid area. So when we put the pointer over everywhere, we want it to be green, showing us it's valid, except when we put it over the table, we want it to turn red or into our invalid color to show that we can't actually select the table. So to do that, if we look at our object pointer curved, we can see there are some restriction settings. We're going to be using the target validity, which takes a Zinnia rule. So we're going to create a Zinnia rule now. To create a rule, we just need to go up to the window menu, then to Zinnia, and then to this observable list component generator. And then we need to select from the component type what type we want to create. Well, we're going to keep this simple and just use an any tag rule. So if we select any tag rule and click generate component, that then puts a new game object in our scene with our any tag rule on. We can now close down this window. And the any tag rule basically just checks to see if the target object has a certain tag on it. So that's one of these Unity tags. So we're going to create a new Unity tag for this. So if we click up in tag and then click add tag, we need to just add a new tag and we'll call this invalid pointer location, and we'll just copy that to make it easier and then click save. Then go back to our any tag rule container. We're going to add a new element and we'll just paste in what we've just typed in there. So invalid pointer location. This now says any component that has the tag invalid pointer location on it will be considered a valid tag. This isn't actually what we want, but we'll see what this does first. Go back to object pointers curved, and now we can just drag and drop our rule onto our target validity, and then if we run our scene we can see what that looks like. So now we're in the scene. If I activate my pointer, we can see our pointer is showing red everywhere, but it's also showing red when we go on the table. That's because we need to actually tag all the objects in that table with that new tag. So let's go and do that now. So if we select our table in our hierarchy, we can see that the table is made up of a number of different game objects, all containing a collider. So all of these can actually be collided with. So what we need to do is select all of these objects and now select our tag, and we'll pick invalid pointer location. So these are all now tagged with the correct tag that this rule is looking for, and that rule is being passed into our pointer to say this is a valid target. So let's click play and see if that works. So again, in the scene, if I activate the pointer, you can see that it's showing red everywhere. However, if I hover over the table, it goes green, which is actually the opposite of what we wanted. We wanted it to be green everywhere other than the table. So let's go and fix that. So the reason it's green only on the table is because that's what our rule is actually doing. It's saying any tag that contains an invalid pointer location we want to consider a valid target, which is fine if we wanted to tag everywhere in our scene that we considered valid, but we want to do the opposite here. What we want to do is say only consider this invalid, but consider everything else valid. So we can do that by adding another rule here, and we can just use the negation rule. So if we just literally search for negation rule, and basically what the negation rule does is it takes the rule here, which can return either true or false. So it returns true if it finds a game object with that tag on, and it returns false if it finds a game object without that tag. We actually want to reverse that, and that's what this negation does. It flips whatever this finds. So if this finds true, this will return false. And if this finds false, this will return true, which is exactly what we want to happen here. We want it to be find any game object that has this tag, and if you do, make it an invalid target. So we set that up by literally saying the any tag rule is the rule that is used by the negation rule. So we make sure this says any tag rule. And then now on our object pointers curved, instead of using the any tag rule, we can now use that negation rule. So if we drag and drop there and select the negation rule, now let's run the scene and see what happens. So now when I activate the pointer, we can see it's green everywhere as it was before because everywhere is valid, except if I hover over the table now. When I hover over the table, that's considered an invalid location. So it will show up as red, which is exactly what we wanted. We've now got it so our pointer can have certain valid targets and certain invalid targets. I hope this video has been useful to you. If it has, please do consider subscribing to the channel, leaving any likes or dislikes, and leave any comments down below. And please consider subscribing to the Patreon, as it does help fund these videos. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.